us in.
I was burying bodies out in the desert.
Neighbors claimed they practice witchcraft.
Quiet. Everything will be fine.
So is this intro going to be as awkward as I feel like it's going to be?
It probably will. It feels like a first date.
It really
it's been
does.
long enough.
This is weird.
When I tell you that I fought for my life, I'm talking full final girl, tits out, shirt torn, blood everywhere, just mud strewn across the face, fighting for my life. Girl.
Same. I mean, 2020 has been, she did not come to play.
I got sick, then you got sick, then everybody was sick.
Everybody got sick. Look, let's count the ways, you know. We've got, it's not even the end of January, and we've had the threat of World War III, you know, we've had coronavirus, you know, any number of things.
That's probably what I had, girl. I probably had that coronavirus. I'm patient zero, girl. Don't come for me, FBI. I'm not.
Oh, no.
I'm
Please
CDC
don't.
people. I'm scared of them CDC people. I'm more scared of the CDC than I am of the FBI.
Really?
Yes. They have fucking needles there.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see why.
They own some bullshit. They will be like, we don't know about this disease, but we're gonna. Because we're going to give it to you, and then we're going to study it. You're going to teach us about this disease. And we'll be so thankful. We'll be so thankful for your accomplishments. We'll, you know, hold you up as an American hero after we fucking murder you. Yeah, I'm just saying. Hot take, CDC, they're out to get you.
All right. I think we've got an
out.
episode. Yeah, so it's been a minute, y'all. You know, let's just look at that elephant in the room. It's been a minute.
It has, but we missed you and we love you, and we just going to try to do better. I feel like we are the absentee father to our listeners.
Wow.
Yeah.
The ones that go out for a pack of cigarettes or some milk or something like that, and then they just don't come back.
Except we are back. Just a little bit later than maybe you expected us. And we probably missed the PTA meeting. But we're sorry for that.
Yeah.
And we'll be there for the next one.
We'll send you a card.
And
Actually, probably won't. But
But yeah, no, it feels good to be back. We're excited. 2020, despite the rocky fucking start, we actually have some cool stuff planned for 2020. We're bringing Netflix and Kill back. That's fucking exciting. The good thing about being sick is you can Netflix it up. That's exciting.
For sure.
So we got some travel planned.
Ooh.
Nothing that we can announce yet.
And we're not going to China.
No, we're not fucking. You know what? I'm sorry. If you are listening to this from China, how about you come to us, babe?
Or not.
Or not.
Or not. You just stay over there and listen. We love you. We'll
From
love you from a
afar?
distance. We'll love you from a distance, like a good distant father.
Accuracy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so how you been? I say this like I ain't been looking at your dumbass every day. But, you know, just for the sake of the podcast.
I mean, you know, January's been a struggle. There's some, you know, lots of things going on.
It's a lot.
It's a lot going on. You know, work-life balance has just been a little crazy.
Oh, what is that? That sounds like
Work-life
an
balance.
interesting fairy tale.
Yeah. Work-life balance.
Suddenly
But-
it's like we've transitioned to like the podcast for like NPR working people. Work-life balance. Oh, what a joke.
No,
Jesus fuck.
but yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm ready for January.
This is kind of
to be
like
over.
asking you to talk about
It
yourself.
really is. Don't ask me to. It's asking me to talk about
I'm
myself.
just
January's just
trying-
been really weird.
Yes, I agree.
And I'm ready for February.
I'm just trying to live till in bulk.
True.
I'm just trying to make it. February 1st, she's coming. We gonna burn some herbs. We gonna get it right. We gonna just purge this January energy.
What kind of herbs you gonna burn?
Probably
You got something I don't know
cinnamon. Nah, girl. I just got this big ass pile of sage over here.
But yeah, what about you? No, we're not gonna go there. No, we don't have an episode long enough to cover that bullshit.
Yeah,
Not at all.
I'm here. I'm here with you, and that's all I care about.
Yeah, I finally got her
In
out
this
from that
moment.
weighted blanket.
Yeah, fuck that, man. I lost like years of my life to that thing. Shit. He hid it somewhere.
I did.
So I can't find it. But I will. I'll keep looking for you, weighted blanket. If anyone who's listening would like to put in an application to be my new weighted blanket, I am accepting applications.
Absolutely not.
If you would like to apply for the position.
I posted this in the Facebook group, but we had our first review of 2020.
Yeah, it was good.
I do believe, and it was it was interesting. It was from a user on our YouTube channel called their name is Peace.
Shit, you didn't put him on blast.
Peace, yeah,
too.
Peace.
Yeah, it's good. It was very what you think would come from a user name called Peace.
Yeah, it says the 17 minutes of vapid cackling and giggling is vomit-inducing, considering how serious this topic is. Thank you, Peace,
Thank you, Peace. Peace
for that piece
and love.
of shit. Anyway.
No, but interestingly, it was on our Hosanna Church massacre. Massacre?
Girl.
No, our Hosanna. It
Also
wasn't even
wasn't a
massacre.
massacre.
Hosanna Church scandal. I don't
It was
know.
a scandal.
Must have massacre on the mind. It was on our Hosanna Church scandal episode, which, like, most of it was hyperbole and like
It was
blown out of
really,
proportion, and
like,
we were pointing
yeah.
out that it was not accurate. So
Not accurate, yeah. I mean, there were convictions, so I mean, you have to take that as it is. But a lot of it was really, really just.
I mean, the abuse of the children was probably accurate, but like all of the Satan worshiping,
Yeah, the Satan worshiping, and then
it's not quite how you
the
do
drenching
it.
the babies in blood and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. Like I
don't
think
think
that
it was
was all
that.
just satanic panic for you.
Yeah.
So
So I don't
But-
know. I like to think that Peace is actually God Warrior from the TLC
she
wife
is my
wife swap show.
favorite.
If you haven't seen God Warrior and you don't know what the fuck we're talking about, pause the show and Google or YouTube like God Warrior TLC wife swap.
Wife shop.
Again.
Damn.
What am I thinking about today? Massacres and wife shopping and
She's not a Christian!
I don't know. That depends on what you're going to talk to me about, I guess. But we had before we get into that, actually, we have a shout out that we wanted to do today.
we do. Yes, we do. So we are a little late on this, so we will beg your forgiveness, but let's be honest, it's us and we're fucking late on everything.
For real.
But we wanted to give a shout out to one of our listeners.
Yes, we wanted to give a shout out to our dearest friend, John M. I don't know if he wants to tell
Let's
his
not.
last name, but we'll say John M.
I heard that he wanted us to read his last name and his social security number or whatever the fuck that is in Britain. I don't know how they identify you people in Britain. Do they just like stick their finger in paint and just like thumbprint on your forehead and that's your version of a social security number? I have no idea.
But happy belated birthday to you.
Happy belated
we're
birthday.
trying to say.
Happy belated birthday, you bastard.
You bastard.
You British bastard.
We hope it was a good one. We hope you had lots to drink, and if you
We hope
don't
you had a
drink,
lot of
we
tea.
hope tea.
We hope you had a lot of hot tea. We hope you had some crumpets. We hope you had tea cakes. We hope that you ate your tea cakes on a tea towel. And we just hope that it was a grand old day for you, old chap.
And that's the
Was
tea.
that good? Did I do good?
I think you did great.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yes, I think you did great. So we did just want to give out a shout out to John. So happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday. Happy birthday after the fact. See, that's what makes it a real surprise.
I'm gonna tell you
is
what.
because it's after your birthday. So
For
you
real.
thought it wasn't going to happen. Much like our next episode.
For real. And guess what? Happy birthday 2021. I got you.
In advance.
In advance.
Submitting
And happy
our work
birthday
early.
to everyone else who has January birthdays that we're forgetting. So there you go.
Happy birthday. We got an email about John, so I'm sorry if you didn't email. No, we're going to have a lot of people emailing about their own birthdays. Could you please wish me happy birthday?
And guess what? We might do it.
We might.
We don't know.
Just like we might have another episode.
We're not going to promise you anything.
All right.
Not at all.
Good. Excellent. Excellent. Is that all of our housekeeping items? Am I permitted to get into the story?
I think so.
Am
So
I permitted to dive in?
yeah. So originally there was a plan for an episode, and then that didn't happen. I don't know what the fuck we're talking about today. Katie came up and she's like, "Hey, you know that episode that you wanted to do? Fuck that. We're not going to do that.
We are going to do that. We're going to do it for Patreon.
Yeah, we're going to do that for Patreon.
It was a little time sensitive, but Patreon,
Yeah.
y'all be all right if we late as shit.
They're like, absolutely not.
You're like, no, actually, we hate you a lot.
Fucking hate you, you piece of shit. So I have no idea what we're talking about today. This is a week where Katie's gonna tell me a story, and I'm excited because I haven't been told a story in a goddamn minute.
I know. I'm so excited to tell you a story. I have had the withdrawals of storytelling, so I'm very excited to dive in.
Is that what that cold sweat is?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Okay.
It's 50% that and like 50% anti-age cream from Lush. It's organic.
Shut the fuck up, you 20-something. Talk to me when you're 30.
Young whippersnapper.
Yeah, young whippersnapper.
You don't know wrinkles. No, it's fine.
So what the fuck you talking about today?
So I'm covering an interesting little story. It's kind of off the beaten path, I guess. Sort of. So it's on brand, I think, for the show, but it is sort of off the beaten path of topics that we would normally talk about.
Whoa, that's a lot to say. Because can we just look at our catalog of topics?
It's true.
Off the beaten path?
It's true.
I think we were born on the beaten. No, we were born off the beaten path.
Excellent. Nailed it. The best at metaphors, actually.
Yeah, the best. Simply the best.
Yeah, it's just a story that I wanted to talk about. I think a lot of our viewers are probably, or listeners, viewers. I hope not viewers. That is a problem for me.
Whoa! If you're
That's a
viewing
problem.
this podcast,
If you're viewing and I haven't given you specific permission, we got issues. No, I think it's something that a lot of our listeners have probably heard about. It's a case that they're probably familiar with, but I just wanted to hop on, talk about it. I wanted to get your thoughts, and I kind of just wanted to kiki a little bit and, have a little bit of fun this week and, ease on back into the swing of things, and we'll get to the blood and guts, maybe next week.
blood and guts and gore, oh my.
Yeah. So we are talking about the case of the Barnetts. It's a family.
Ooh. Okay. The Barnetts. I
Yes,
see it.
the Barnetts.
Painted on a mailbox.
The bee, like the big scripted, like bee with all the curls, like
Yeah.
painted on like a piece of reclaimed wood.
Yep.
Bought at Hobby Lobby, 25% off home decor.
Only 25% off?
That
Come
type
on.
of situation.
Also, we don't shop at Hobby Lobby.
We don't shop at Hobby Lobby. It just came to mind. Michael's just doesn't roll off the tongue the same way, although Michael's is my lifeblood.
Yes.
I love me some Michael's. Hang on, let me clear my throat because I am still recovering from an illness. Okay, so we have Michael and Christine Barnett, and they lived in a cozy suburban home in Hamilton County, just north of Indianapolis. So it's cold there.
So it's cold there
It's cold there.
in Indianapolis.
I went there once. I ordered sushi, which I ate in my hotel room bed.
When
alone.
were you in Indianapolis?
I went there for a work conference like 2 years ago. It was
Oh.
like 2 or 3 days. And I got there and I was like, I'm going to walk around and like go to a restaurant. And girl, no. I watched like Avengers Endgame and ate sushi in my fucking bed.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So nothing's changed.
Yeah, it was excellent. So yes, just north of Indianapolis is where they live in Hamilton County. Christine was actually a famous motivational speaker and author of The Spark, a mother's story of nurturing, genius, and autism.
All right, I'm not going to make fun of that
You're not.
at all.
You might feel like making fun of it later, but that'll become clear.
But excellent title. The Spark.
The Spark.
Okay.
The Spark. Not Nicholas.
Not Nicholas.
Not Nicholas. The Spark minus Nicholas. So Christine, obviously, a very accomplished woman, very famous in the field of parenting, which I guess is a field. I guess you people just read fucking magazines on this shit and books and like
The field.
listen to podcasts on parenting.
So that's like
I mean, I'm just gonna wing it. Like,
the field
gonna hope
of
for the best.
parenting.
yeah.
So that's interesting to think about.
Like, apparently it's a genre of study or, I guess, publication or whatever.
Okay.
Like, our field is trash.
Yeah.
Theirs would be parenting.
Oh, okay.
And apparently
relate.
Christine was very well known for it. She was the picture perfect mom to hers and Michael's 3 boys.
Was she really?
But something was missing. Bum, bum, bum. The couple
Was it the spark?
The Spark. Apparently not, girl, because they had 3 boys. So
Oh shit. All right.
y'all making something happen.
Fuck. Okay.
But apparently the couple really, really desperately wanted to adopt a little girl. So originally Christine and Michael had planned to adopt a little girl from Haiti, but due to the massive earthquake that took place in Haiti in January of 2010, the Barnetts were unable to do so, to go through with that adoption. So later that year, again in 2010, 10 years ago, later in 2020, in April, Michael said that they were contacted by an adoption agency in Florida saying that they'd like to pair them with a Ukrainian girl. According to Michael, it was a hasty process.
A hasty process.
The whole adoption.
Like they were
was kinda,
trying to
rushed through.
get her somewhere.
I guess. Yeah, they were trying to. So I guess comparatively, if you were trying to adopt from Haiti, like I know with overseas adoptions, there's a lot of like red tape that you have to go through and it gets slowed down and it's like such a pain in the ass. Whereas if you're adopting from within the continental US, I think it's a whole lot easier. I mean, it's still, the adoption process is still ridiculously complicated. Which kind of makes sense because you're like taking on a human life into your family, so they should vet you pretty thoroughly. But
I would say so, yes.
But from what I've heard from people, like most of it is not even the vetting process that takes so damn long. It's just like pointless, like bureaucratic red tape, which sucks.
Yeah.
But so apparently, compared to their experience with trying to adopt this little girl in Haiti, they found the process with adopting this little girl in Florida to be much easier, much quicker, much more hasty. So, according to USA Today, the little girl, whose name was Natalia, told a sheriff's deputy that she came to the United States in 2008 as part of an adoption program. She also said that she has a rare form of dwarfism. Now, the medical name is like spondylopipicial dysplasia congenita is the best that I can do for you on that.
Okay.
But basically, it's the disease is characterized by deformities before birth that included and affected the spine, hip, and knee, and caused those to be malformed, as well as ocular abnormalities. So her vision was somewhat abnormal, and her joints, it seems like her major joints were affected by this disease. So Natalia's records at the time of her adoption indicated that she was born in 2003. And according to Children's Hospital records, a physician examined her in 2010 and estimated her age to be about 8 years old. 2 years later, the hospital did its own testing and approximated her to be about 11. So there's quite a range there.
Yeah, so one said 8, one said 11. They don't really know.
Yes, yeah. And the records apparently are unclear.
Okay.
So Christine and Michael, they find their little girl, they adopt her into their family. Clearly she has some challenges, some obstacles that she is, living with this disease that's affecting her. But Christine, who's, her son, it's not clear if all of her sons are affected by autism or just one in particular. But, she's no stranger to kids who are overcoming difficulty. So she welcomes this girl open arms.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
But their happiness as a family would prove to be short-lived.
Dun, dun, dun.
Christine said she began doubting Natalia's age almost immediately after the adoption. Michael said that on their first night together, Christine was giving Natalia a bath and noticed that she had full pubic hair. Unusual for an 8-year-old. Later, Michael claimed that the couple learned of Natalia hiding her menstrual cycle by wrapping her used feminine products up and throwing them away in secret. Or hoarding them to throw them away in secret.
Ooh, no.
But it was stranger than that. Christine also alleged that she became fearful for her life as Natalia threatened to kill her and her family on more than one occasion.
Wait, what? No.
Michael explained that after Natalia was caught pouring pine sol into Christine's coffee, she said, quote, "I'm trying to kill you," end quote.
Hold on, let me get my phone. Hi, Ukraine. I need you to take this girl back. Miss Ukraine, we need to have a conversation. Send this little girl back. Miss Thing. Take her back.
So there was also another really weird incident that was described in one of the interviews. And I don't know the specifics because it was a lot of the information on this case is taken from several key interviews, a lot of which were done on daytime talk shows. So the information is
like
kind of
Sally
chopped
Jesse
up.
Raphael.
Like Dr. Phil.
Oh!
Like Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil. Like that
Okay.
sort of status. The parents went on Dr. Oz and Natalia later went on Dr. Phil. We'll get there. But so there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of vague statements that we're kind of working with. And there's a reason for that. We'll get into it towards the end. But there was one incident that was described in one of those interviews by Christine and Michael where they were at the beach or something. And the boys had, the family, you go to the fucking, well, you might not know, actually. It's been a while.
Don't go to the beach.
But you go to the beach with the family and you're like, oh, it'll be a great time. And then you get all your shit and then you bring your fucking umbrellas because you're pale and you live in Indianapolis and you haven't seen the sun in like 3 years. And you carry all your shit down to the shore and you set the cooler down with your fucking contraband beers that you poured into other containers because you don't want to get arrested on the family vacation because that would just really kill the vibe. And you have your fucking umbrellas and your like towels and shit like that and you're getting set up. And the kids, of course, are acting like they've never fucking seen water before. And they're just like freaking the fuck out. And they're like, ah. So all three boys just ran down to the water and Natalia wanted to go into the water. So she's like, Mom, Dad, like I want to go into the water. But because of her disease and her like deformities that happened as a result of the disease, clearly, she needs help. She needs assistance getting down to the water. And they had told her, like, hang on a second, we'll get set up and then we'll carry you down to the water. Because she, at that point, had not let on that she could walk without assistance. Well, they turn around to set up the site and she is, like, running full force at the water when they turn back around. Just flat out run. So that was another situation that happened that kind of gave them pause.
Yeah. I mean, unless like Jesus was there and he was like tapped you on the forehead and was like, you can now walk to this water, little girl. Then I don't see, I would be a little bit concerned. And even if it was Jesus,
honestly,
I still would be
worried.
concerned.
I'd be like, please get away from my child.
Some
Please don't touch
old
me
man
or my children.
and fucking long hair looking like a dirty hippie and just like touching the forehead of your child. Would still be worried.
Thanks for that. My lawyer will be sending a subpoena. No, I'm kidding. So, given all of this, and given their suspicions, and given the fact that Natalia clearly has some sort of, mental issue, if she's trying to kill the fucking family, poison her.
So was that before or after? Like, I mean,
think that may have been after. I'm imagining. I don't know, because again, a lot of the timeline is just piecing things together. But I'm assuming that the Pine Sol incident was the jumping off point for taking Natalia to professionals for evaluation. I'm just gonna float that out there.
You think? I mean, listen, Natalia. By the way, Natalia was the name of my silver 2000 Pontiac Grand Am that I had. It was. Just by the way. But I'm just here to say, I don't do Pine Sol in my coffee. I don't do anything in my coffee.
Here's the thing. If you're trying to poison someone that way, use antifreeze. It is sweet. Put it in Gatorade. They'll never know.
Huh. Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't do that to your Gatorades that I give you every morning. I would never do that to your Gatorades. But one theoretically could do that to a Gatorade.
Okay.
For someone else.
Okay. All right.
If they wanted that.
Well, listen, I'm gonna need for you to like step it up because I'm still here.
Look, this is taking too long.
I'm gonna need for you. Come on. I'm gonna need for you to just stick a straw in that antifreeze and give it to me. Slap a sticker that says Gatorade on it,
a
and
little
then I will
milkshake.
and then I will drink
We'll
it.
just put 2 straws in the
You
diner.
just slide over an actual container of antifreeze and stick a straw in it, and it's like, here, Kenny, here's your Gatorade, and I just take it and I just look at you, and I just start.
Thanks for my Gatorade.
Thanks for my Gatorade. And I grab my keys and turn around and head off to work.
Well, Natalia's parents didn't take it nearly as well as that. So they took her to a doctor, several doctors. And they said, this is a quote from Michael from one of his interviews, quote, while she was at the stress center, they were documenting, they were telling doctors, they were telling therapists, they were writing, taking notes on her in their notepads. And Natalia was saying, not only am I trying to kill Christine, but I'm going to kill the brothers too. Here's how I'm going to do it. Here's what I'm going to do with their bodies. Like, apparently it was that level of detail.
Well, wait. There are stress centers?
Those
I think exist?
Well, yeah. I think it's like it's like stress testing. I think it's like a mental health thing. I've never heard of one, honestly.
A stress center?
Yeah.
Sounds like a good time to me. Can you heal me?
Can you heal me?
I have
Please
stress.
Fix me.
I have stress. Can you test?
Please test.
Please?
I would get an A+ on the stress
Please
test.
test.
I definitely would. I must. In fact, I must get 100 points
Your
on
fucking
the stress
Virgo self
test.
is like, I got an A+ on the stress test. And they're like, ma'am, that's not good.
Yes. That is 100% me. I am the best at therapy. I am the best at stress. I have all the stress. I have 100% of it. And I am the best at
stress.
it. Yes. I have an A+ in therapy. Yeah, so apparently, clearly they take her to these centers. They get her evaluated. Clearly there's some mental health issues going on there. If all of those allegations are true, clearly there's significant mental health issues. But the Barnetts keep looking into it, and in June of 2012, with a court judge's approval, they actually changed Natalia's official age listed on her birth certificate documents from the Ukraine from age 8 to age 22.
Fuck!
Apparently, doctors had run tests, and specialists had talked with her and examined her and decided that she was actually born in 1989.
Oh.
Which would make her 30 years old.
Yeah, it would.
Today.
It would make her 30 years old today. Shit. Hold on a second. So you tested her the first fucking time and said that she was 8. And then another one said she was 11. Mm-hmm. And now we're just going to test her. And now magically she's fucking, 22?
22 in 2012, yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yep.
that fucking Taylor Swift song. You feeling 22?
I guess she was feeling 22. I
She
don't
was
know.
feeling 22 on that day they were testing her. That's some shit. And I'm going to tell you what. You know what that reminds me of the movie The Orphan?
Yes, exactly. So everybody's making comparisons between this case and the 2009 movie Orphan. But it's so crazy because this case was happening. I mean, Natalia was adopted in 2010. So like this was actually happening like right as that movie had come out, right? Crazy.
Yeah, shit.
Because that movie came out in 2009.
Ah, fuck.
Yes.
That's
and
so
Natalia came to
weird.
the U.S. in 2008 and then was adopted in 2010, early 2010. So it is really interesting how the two kind of like run side by side.
Shit.
But there's more to the story here. So in June 2012, her age is officially changed. Her birth year is officially changed to 1989, which would make her 30 years old today. And Michael commented that one of the benefits of changing her age, one of the reasons that they went back and had it changed on her birth certificate, other than just doubting that she was the age that she was, by changing her age, she could lawfully be admitted to a psychiatric hospital and get the care that she needed. So remember that.
Get the care that she needed, a.k.a. get the fuck out my house.
Exactly. So at around the same time, the Barnett's eldest son, 12-year-old Jacob Barnett, began getting attention as a physics whiz kid at Purdue University in Indianapolis. Now, this is the son that, the autistic son that Christine had gotten famous writing the book about parenting. Jacob was his name. And he super smart kid. He was featured in a segment on 60 Minutes, and he actually did a TED Talk
Oh,
of
shit.
his own.
Okay.
Yeah. Brilliant kid. Very cool. Natalia, interestingly, in that TED Talk, or not in the TED Talk, but in the 60 Minutes segment that Jacob did, Natalia actually is in that 60 Minutes segment. When they talk to Christine, their mom, Natalia can be seen like right beside Christine in multiple points during the
With
the
her.
video. Yeah, with her. Because she was living with them at the time that was filmed.
Okay.
So,
and was that before? That was before they found out
that
how
was
old
before.
she was.
That was
Yeah.
before everything happened because
Okay.
it was sort of like filmed before that.
Yeah.
So in 2013, Jacob was accepted to the Perimeter Institute for Theoretical Physics in Waterloo, Ontario, which is a smart place for smart people, and I don't even know what they fucking do there. Something with
What did
physics.
you say it was? What did he?
The Perimeter Institute for Theoretical Physics.
Theoretical physics.
In
Sounds like to
Waterloo.
me like they don't know what they're doing either.
Theoretical. This is a theoretical podcast, girl.
Theoretically, we release on Wednesdays.
Theoretically.
Theoretically, we're weekly.
Theoretically. No, is it sad that like the only thing I thought of when I read that, the Perimeter Institute for Theoretical Physics in Waterloo, Ontario, was the song
Waterloo? I was thinking that too.
Waterloo. I just hum the whole rest of it until it's like, all that I want is to be with you. That's it.
Waterloo. Ooh.
Yep. Ooh. Woof.
Oh.
Woof. Here's hoping ABBA
That's-
doesn't sue us for
that's
that
sick.
unpaid
That's-
spot.
Listen, if we haven't been sued yet, then like, come on.
Sounds like
Sarah
overconfidence
McLachlan.
to me.
Could get us. Any number of people
Look,
could
she
get
has
us.
asked us to never mention her name again. We have to respect her.
Okay.
So basically, 2013, Jacob is like doing really well. He gets accepted to this fancy dancy theoretical university, and
Theoretical universe.
and the family decides to up and move to Canada. Right, because it's in Waterloo, Canada, and they lived in Indianapolis. So they up and decided to move to Canada, but they just decided not to take Natalia with them.
Are we doing? Is it like a Home Alone situation where they're like, just being like, "Oh my God, what happened to Natalia? Oh no, we left her at home
For years.
forever."
Yeah. Yeah.
Natalia, we don't know her.
So it's a little, again, the details are a little fuzzy, but it's possible that at the time that the family actually moved to Canada, that Natalia was actually still in that facility, in the stress center. But shortly thereafter, it sounds like she was released. And caretakers at that center, Michael said, again, this is Michael's word on this. Caretakers at that stress center agreed that Natalia was an adult. Those were some of the folks who helped the Barnetts change the birth certificate to the year on the birth certificate to 1989. So clearly they believed that she was an adult past over the age of 18.
Yeah.
So Michael said at that point they helped her get set up at an apartment near Indianapolis. They paid her first 3 months rent. They set her up with disability, Social Security, and food stamps. And he said, quote, "I checked on her a couple times a week. She was fine." End quote.
I checked on her a couple times a week. She's fine.
So at this point, the family has just decided to fuck off to Canada and has left Natalia, who is, potentially a 23-year-old at this point in 2013, but also could be like 10 years old.
Well, no.
And they just get her an apartment and put her up, leave her there. She's doing fine.
Shit, I wish somebody do that for me.
She's doing great. She's doing great.
Shit, I'm gonna put you up some. I'm gonna put this podcast up somewhere. We're gonna give you some food stamps. Just you order all the pizza you want. This is just as long as you sit down and record.
So I actually think that might actually be what Patreon is. Please,
yeah,
buy pizza and record. So sometime later, despite what Michael tells us that he, put her up, checked on her, she was fine. She's doing great. Natalia apparently wasn't doing fine because she got evicted from her apartment and told authorities after that she hadn't seen her parents since they moved up north. Meanwhile, one of her neighbors said that she attended classes at Lafayette Adult Resource Academy, but that she had suddenly quit going, that Natalia had suddenly quit going.
Well, here's the thing. You paid 3 months of rent.
Yeah.
Did she have a job?
Right. I mean, what happens on month 4?
What happens on the 4th month, baby?
Yeah.
We're going to pay you. We're going to set you up for 3 months. You'll be fine. Yeah. Okay. What happens after
I don't
that?
know if the mind, if the mental process was that they would get her set up with Social Security benefits and then she would get a disability payment, which she would then use to pay the rent. No idea. Very fuzzy on the details. But then you would
also have to evaluate her understanding of being an adult, right? Because you don't quite know, or at least from what I am guessing, is they don't really understand her thought process and how she's thinking. Does she have the skills to take care of herself, alone?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I have some thoughts on that, which we'll get to in our discussion portion. But in the discussion portion of the
podcast.
But yeah, so after that, Natalia kind of disappeared.
Wait, after she was evicted?
Yeah,
Oh.
She kind of disappeared and went dark, and nobody really. There was a period of time where everybody was like, "Okay, where is this girl?" Nothing. This story happened, and then nothing. Where did she go?
Did she go to Canada?
No. She then resurfaced living with another family in Indiana, and that family in 2016 petitioned to be her guardians. But to make that happen, they actually needed her old birth records, and that process required contacting the Barnetts.
Because technically she would still be
their child. Yeah. And they would have her records. So this new family doesn't believe that she is an adult. They believe the original age of 8 years old that she was originally tested at the hospital, somewhere between there, 8 and 9. That's how old they believed her to be in 2010. So they still don't think that she is past the age of majority. And so they, in 2016, were petitioning to become her guardians. Michael Barnett said that in response to them contacting this new family, contacting them for the birth records, apparently he said he showed up at the guardianship hearing with several of Natalia's past healthcare professionals and documentation, and the judge ruled at that hearing that Natalia was indeed an adult. And that case was summarily dismissed because obviously you can't adopt an adult.
Can you, though? I think you can.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can become... Well, I think if they're declared like, I think there are certain like mental health declarations.
No,
that
but
can
I've
be
seen
made.
people who like who are older who like have their like stepfathers or I guess maybe like adopt them or change their last names. Like I've seen that happen.
I don't know. For some reason it was thrown out when they ruled that she was an adult. And I don't know. I don't really know why.
I could be wrong, but I've seen that happen.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like for those who have father figures in their life that they would like to adopt them. I wouldn't know anything about that, but that's fine.
Can't relate.
Can't relate.
So in a crazy twist, Christine and Michael Barnett, who divorced in 2014, by the way. So
there went the spark.
Just saying. They were arrested.
Whoa!
Last year.
Shit!
Christine and Michael were arrested and charged with 2 counts of felony neglect of a dependent. Michael reportedly admitted to the police that he believed that Natalia, this is crazy. So apparently he reportedly admitted to police that he believed that Natalia was a minor as late as July of 2013 when that custody case happened. Michael has since recanted that statement, saying, quote, "It's not so. It's taken completely out of context. Day 1 of the adoption," I guess he's talking about. Day 1, I thought she was 6. Day 2, I thought she was 9. End quote. Despite those differing accounts, though, arrest warrants soon followed Michael's statements, and the pair was charged with 2 counts of felony neglect of a dependent.
Is this in reference to Natalia?
Yes. And that was actually extended to neglect of a dependent resulting in bodily injury in November of 2019. So basically the case that was made against them is that they, when they decided in 2013 to up and move to Canada, right, Michael had said, according to his statements somehow, that he believed that Natalia was a minor in July of 2013. Well, 2013 is when they decided to move to Canada. So at that point, them moving away and leaving her in an apartment by herself was them effectively abandoning her.
Yeah.
Neglect.
Okay.
Of a dependent. But
at that point, hadn't her birth certificate been changed?
Her birth certificate had been changed, but here's the thing. I think that there's some questions about the legality of that. There is some questions. So we're not really sure what age she is. And I have a very limited knowledge of this because I don't necessarily work in the field of dependent care. But even if someone is over the age of 18, if they are dependent on you for other reasons, disability reasons, mental health reasons, physical health reasons, any type of issue like that causes them to be dependent on you, it doesn't really matter if they're over 18. If they can't take care of themselves, you cannot leave them and move to Canada. You can't do that. They're a dependent, even if they're a parent.
All of our listeners are like, yeah, you can't do that, can you? You can't just pick up and leave, can you?
You can't.
You can't do that.
You can't. All of our listeners who have children are like, you can't. They're white knuckling the steering wheel right now. You can't move to Canada. You can't move to Canada. Stacy, you have to be here in Ontario. Sorry, Ontario's in Canada, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Fuck that up. So essentially those are the charges. And then in November of 2019, those charges were extended due to the fact that, apparently someone examining the case, probably a very smart medical person, a doctor.
I don't know why you're pointing at me when you say that.
Someone examining, the case determined that it would be appropriate to, sort of extend that charge or put another charge on of neglect of a dependent resulting in bodily injury because Natalia's specific disability that affected her joints, there were apparently surgeries that she would have needed to have related to that illness. So that disease would have necessitated her having certain surgeries in childhood while she was under the care of the Barnetts, and she did not get those surgeries. And because she did not get those surgeries, she had ongoing pain, she had mobility issues, increased mobility issues. Apparently there were things that they could have done to help her with her condition, and they did not do them. And instead abandoned her to live the life of like Richie Rich in a fucking apartment for 3 months until the rent runs out, I guess. So Michael and Christine both turned themselves in and bonded out of jail. Both planned to plead not guilty. So Michael Barnett, then very smart guy. That's sarcasm. He went on Dr. Oz to clear his name in October.
Shit.
Which I have to tell you.
That recent?
Yes, October 2019, baby. This is a fresh one.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm triggered. You said October 2019. Hold on.
That was a dark time as well, in fact. Yeah, so he goes on Dr. Oz to clear his name. And I just have to say, if you are a listener and you're involved in any sort of contentious court case or any sort of weird, if you moved to Canada and left your child, first of all, fuck you for that. Second of all, don't go on Dr. Oz to clear your name. Don't do that. That has literally never worked for anybody in the history of Dr. Oz. Okay? In the history of time, actually. I would say, don't go on Dr. Oz to clear your fucking name. That's not what Dr. Oz is for. That's not why it exists.
You go to Dr. Phil.
We love Dr. Phil.
I'd go to Ellen.
So Michael goes to Dr. Oz to clear his name. That's where he has this big interview. That's where a lot of the information that I put together for this story came from. I also have to credit a USA Today article that broke this story earlier in 2019. But on the show, Michael, accompanied by his attorney, told his story and answered some questions from fucking Dr. Oz, which I don't know why he's allowed to even be involved in this.
Do you have what do you got against Dr. Oz?
I mean, he's just not a real doctor. I mean, he is a doctor. He's not a doctor. I mean, he is, but he's not. Just don't.
He's not a doctor?
He reminds me of like the Wizard of Oz, and the wizard wasn't real either, and it's just like there's too much of a correlation there. It's definitely some sort of left-hand path magic. It's not acceptable. So Michael on the show told a story. He said that he actually said on the show that he thinks that Natalia might not even be Ukrainian. He said she didn't have an accent and she couldn't speak Ukrainian. He actually told a story. He said she had no memory of growing up in Ukraine. And he told a story about, like, apparently they had friends who were Ukrainian. And, like, they came over and they were trying to speak with Natalia in Ukrainian. And Natalia was just like, I don't fucking understand what you're saying. She was like, I don't know what you're saying.
She's like, I don't fucking know. She didn't even try.
Yeah.
At least I would have tried. I would have just been like, yeah, see.
I would have. You know what? Fake a seizure. Get out of it every time. Might have to take a dose of ketamine. Might have to take some chill out medicine. Spend the next 4 hours sleeping. But you get out of it.
Ask you about something in Ukraine, and then you just like run straight into a wall.
So following that Dr. Oz interview at the end of October, the Tippecanoe Superior Judge Steve Meyer issued a gag order and basically told everybody to shut the fuck up. He barred prosecutors, Barnetts, and their attorneys from commenting on the case or making any sort of out-of-court statements about Natalia. Because this thing...
What a power move.
Yeah, right? What a power top. Steve Meyer.
Shit, all right.
Judge Meyer.
Gag order on me. Damn.
Yeah, so he saw, apparently he wasn't a fan of the Dr. Oz interview either. Apparently Judge Meyer and I have similar views.
He's over there like, can you imagine, y'all? It's like this guy and Katie, and then they're just sitting there and they're just like, I can't believe he fucking went on Dr. Oz. And Katie's like, I know.
Why do they always do that, Judge Meyer?
He's not even a real fucking
sounds
doctor.
Sounds like it's time to issue a gag order. So anyway, after that happened, Michael goes on Dr. Oz, talks a bunch of shit. The judge puts a gag order on everybody. And then fucking 2 weeks later, Natalia goes on Dr. Phil and has this huge Dr. Phil interview where she shares her side of the story. And she kind of... She didn't really have great answers for everything, and I think that Dr. Phil remained a little bit skeptical. And I too am skeptical. Dr. Phil and I both are skeptical. because it just seems very... Like, I don't know how she survived in an apartment by herself for 3 months. At the same time, I don't know why the Barnetts would leave her by herself for 3 months.
I mean, okay, here's the thing.
But after that, Judge Meyer also put a gag order on Natalia. So he saw that interview and he was like, God damn it. And then he went back and put a gag order on everybody. So he actually might be issuing a gag order to the state of Indiana next.
What was happening was he was taking a shit. And he was on his phone, and he saw that he was scrolling through Facebook and saw that, and he said, God damn it! And then he just pulled up really quickly and then went and issued that gag order. Mm-hmm. And you know what's going to happen. Next thing you know, we're going to get a gag order.
Oh my God. Judge Steve Meyer is going to email us. OMG. He's going to be like, I told y'all to stop talking about it.
He goes through and he's like, son of a bitch.
But I guess it would probably be because this thing blew up, right? Because obviously there are a lot of similarities to the movie Orphan. People like to draw those connections, whether they're necessarily accurate once we get into the case or not. So the media just attacked this story and was touting it everywhere. And of course, that obviously presents a problem for those of us, our listeners who are true crime fans. You see where I'm going with this probably, but that creates a situation in which it's really hard to get an impartial jury. So it's really hard to have a trial because you don't have a group of people who are impartial because everybody's heard about the case. Everybody has been fucking watching Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil, and everybody already is coming in with an opinion. So you can't have an impartial jury of peers to hold the trial because... your
right. If
jury
it's
pool has kind of been
sensationalized to a
polluted.
point, then everything's going to be like, oh, she said, he said she shed, she sells seashells by the seashore in her she shed.
Stunning.
Wow, I did that. That was good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm
but you get what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
it'll come to a point where it's so sensationalized that facts become blurred.
And then there's also the fact that we are dealing with we're dealing with somebody who at this point would be 18. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
18?
Yeah. If you were
she
8,
was 13 in 2003.
if you were 8
right?
no, she'd be like 20. She'd be 20 if she was 8 in 2008 when she came over here. Anyway, whatever. You're dealing with somebody who, may or may not have this disability. You don't know what the mental health, I don't know. I'm sure the people around Natalia know.
It doesn't sound like literally anybody fucking knows.
Yeah. There's a lot of
TBH.
unknowns. But my point is that you're dealing with somebody who may or may not be who may or may not be living with a disability, and you don't necessarily want that person becoming a spectacle either, because that's shitty. So I actually do admire him for kind of trying to rein some of the crazy media shit in, because it does, it's not cool for people to be thinking that she's the girl from Orphan, because nobody wants that. The girl from Orphan did a lot of questionable activities.
Yeah, she did.
So she definitely
But
did.
let's not forget the fact this little girl or young woman, also was trying to claim that she was trying to kill these people.
It's
so,
true, but I mean,
like,
there's a lot of,
she
there's
put
a lot of,
pine sol in coffee. Let's
maybe
not forget about that.
Maybe she thought it was stevia. Okay, maybe she thought that it was
girl.
like the new sucralose sweetener. Maybe we should try it. Maybe we should just try a thimbleful.
Or not.
Or you could stick with your Gatorade. Anyway, so the Barnett's trial date was originally set for January 28th of 2020, but it's actually been pushed back. It's actually been pushed back, and Michael and Christine will have separate trials. Michael's trial will start on June 22nd. Christine's trial will start. Christine's trial will start July 27th, and they face 6 to 20 years in prison on the most serious charges if they are convicted. As of now, I believe they both. As of now, I believe they both plan to plead not guilty.
I mean, 6 to 20 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For shit. Why didn't y'all just take this little girl to Canada? I mean, damn, that's crazy. Because, like, I could understand, like, if you have this, like, person who is potentially trying to kill you, I mean, fucking bye.
I mean, I hate to make another, like, comparison to a horror movie, but it's sort of like a Samara situation from The Ring, right? Like, she's trying to fucking kill you, but also, I mean, should you be inhumane? But also, she's trying to kill you.
Right. Like,
she is an agent of chaos and darkness in the world. I'm speaking of Samara there. I'm not speaking of Natalia. I'm sure she's lovely. But for me, I think...
But I don't understand. This child or woman...
Yes.
Has no recollection of, like...
No.
Where she's from.
No.
Who her parents were.
Not according to Michael. Now, there's been back and forth on that since then. Who knows what the real truth is. But for me, there's just too many holes in the story. Like you said, why didn't they just take her with them when they went to Canada and have her committed somewhere in Canada? Why, if she was so sick, could she not have been committed to a mental health facility and stayed in the facility and received care there? Why was she ever released if she was that sick? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, why are we even dealing with... And if somebody is that sick or that, you know, struggling with their mental illness, because it is sickness, why are you going to put them in an apartment by themselves? I mean, that's like the fucking Jeffrey Dahmer treatment. Like, taking someone who is mentally ill and putting them in an apartment by themselves and isolating them completely from the family is the worst thing you can do for someone with mental illness.
So then why isn't the person in charge of the stress place being put on trial for that? Like, they're the ones who put her
up. For discharging them?
Yeah. But who put her up in this apartment and just left her there?
The family. Michael and Christine.
Oh,
Michael and Christine did that. No.
This place that she was in, put her up.
No, the place that she was in,
fuck.
They just discharged her to Michael and Christine's care, and then Michael and Christine put her up in a fucking apartment, paid 3 months rent, supposedly set her up with Social Security and disability, and then fucking bounced.
Okay, well, that changes things a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I was thinking...
That's why they're charged with neglect.
I was thinking that they had, like, put her in this place at this point that she had been deemed, like, you know, not a child, I guess. And they, like,
I remember the day I was deemed not a child.
Oh, God. And... So they just bounced, and then I thought this place, like, set her up. Like, housing.
No. Michael and Christine were involved in it the entire time.
Fuck.
They're the ones who got her to the apartment.
Okay, well, that changes things a bit. So, still, my thing is that I don't understand why we can't pinpoint what this girl's age is. Like... We are in the process where we are solving crimes that have happened years and years and years ago through forensics and DNA and yada, 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 and all this other stuff. And you can fucking tell me that I have fucking 0.1% of, like, fucking, you know, something around the world in my blood. But you can't, like, pinpoint how old this girl is. Like, you can tell how old a tree is. You can't carbon date this bitch.
Apparently, there are experts on the parents on Christine and Michael's side that back them and say, you know, well, because Christine and Michael's whole point is that the people at the stress center that they took her to that were helping her with a lot of the mental illness issues and kind of, I guess, for lack of a better word, diagnosing her. They're the ones who apparently did some sort of testing and examinations to determine that she was actually 22 years old. But then obviously if Christine and Michael are being charged with neglect of a dependent, it's not clear whether that carries, like whether that word dependent means just someone who is dependent on them, because by virtue of Natalia's, you know, illness that she was struggling with, that was affecting her joints, potentially her mental illness, making her dependent, or if it was an age-related thing, that there are other people on Natalia's side that are saying that Natalia, on her Dr. Phil interview, stuck to, her story that she was her original age, that she was a child at the time that all of this went down. So it's just unclear. I'm guessing a lot more of those details will come out during the trial.
But then you have to also go back, and I know that there's, well, how old are you when you typically like start experiencing things like your period and stuff like that? Like,
well, I was 13. I was in my babysitter's trailer. I'd just gotten home from school.
Babysitter's trailer.
None of that is a lie.
Fuck. But that's what I'm like. But then again, is that just like what they're saying?
It is abnormal. I mean, it is abnormal if you did have a child who was, 8 when they adopted her, somewhere between 6 and 9. It would be unusual for a child's period to start that soon, but not impossible. I mean, especially if she's coming from somewhere like Ukraine, where we're not sure.
Maybe would explain the pubic hair.
Well, we're not sure if maybe she was part Polish. Maybe she's just a hairy gal. Some of us are hairier than others. Just deal with it, world. But I'm not sensitive. You're sensitive. But it is, I mean, those things are unusual, but perhaps those things are just the result of an early puberty that could have been brought on by malnutrition as a child. It could have been brought on by a number of things,
I just feel like if we just like can pinpoint how old this person is, then that would give you the answers that you need.
Maybe, but then again, maybe
because
not,
then
because
you could
again,
reset
being
the
dependent,
timeline.
being dependent on someone for care is more than a function of age, right? Even if I have a child who's 22, if that child mentally is not age 22, there are different measures, basically. I am cautious regarding the story. I think it's a fascinating case, and I'm interested to learn more about about it during the trial over the summer if Judge Steve Meyer lets me learn anything about it. But if he doesn't just gag us all to kingdom
the
come.
pizza we ordered, we go down to get it, and it's actually just the judge.
It's
and a
him
fucking
holding the
Papa
fucking
John's.
pizza in his judge robes. You only
Did
get
someone
pizza.
order a gag reflex? Yes, Daddy.
Yeah, no, but I without knowing the full story, because there are a bunch of holes, I am cautiously sort of skeptical of Christine and Michael, because I just don't see. For me, I mean, I get that there are threats being made, and I get, we laugh and joke about how, kids do a bunch of like weird, creepy shit, and we're not going to have any of that and get the fuck out of my house and blah, blah, blah. But when it comes down to it, if someone is dependent on you for care, you can't just like nope out of the situation.
Fuck, if they coming at me with a knife in the middle of the night, I'm going to nope the fuck out their forehead and like fucking bye. No.
But you need to obtain some sort of reasonable level of care for this person. If you have adopted, I get that you thought you were adopting a child or whatever, but clearly this person is unwell. Clearly they need care. You need to find care for them. Christine was a fucking author with a book that's still fucking on Amazon. You can buy The Spark. I Googled it. It's on Amazon right now. You can buy the shit. Like, clearly, I think they have the assets to be able to pay for Natalia to be in an institution and for her to get, the surgeries that she needs because of her illness and all of that shit. I feel like if you took on the responsibility, whether that person is 8 years old or whether that person is 22 years old, they're clearly not well mentally. They clearly have a lot of issues and they need care. So you took on a human life. You need to take care of that person. And so I'm cautiously, and I say cautiously because there are holes in the story, obviously.
Say hole again.
Shut up. But I'm kind of like cautiously. I think a firm slap on the wrist is required, because I think that's shitty. You don't just fucking set a child. And there's also the fact of like, what if she was a child and she literally, they just got her an apartment and they were like, here you go, fucking. I guess go with God. Like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
It's tricky.
I'm suspicious.
It's tricky.
I'm suspicious.
Final word, suspicious.
I'm going
to remain suspicious as well until
I think we're on
summer.
opposite sides of the suspicion. I think.
Yes.
I think
we're covering the field, the full field of suspicion.
Because, like, I mean, I guess it would depend on, like, is there more to her threats to them? Like, was there more than just, like, the one time that she was trying to put pine sol in there and then, like, she claimed that she was trying to kill them? Like, was there more than that? Like, because if there was, then would that give them, then I would understand their side a little more.
I mean, if you feel that somebody is a danger to themselves or others, regardless of their age, you can have them... Like, there's a process of getting them the help that they need, getting them institutionalized, getting them, admitted to a facility that's going to be able to give them care.
Yeah.
You don't react to that situation by just buying them, like, getting an apartment and paying the first 3 months of rent and just leaving them there. Like, that's not a solution. That's not how you fix it. You get them committed. You get them into a health facility. And then you fucking dip out to Canada if the fuck you want. Like, I mean, then you can go to the theoretical university. Whatever. I just think that there was more...
But what would you do in an instant like that? So if you have a child who is technically your dependent and they are threatening your life, and you have an instance where you, like, say, for example, if you have to, like, call the cops, what the fuck happens after that? Like,
I mean, it happens all the time.
To that?
Yeah,
what happens to that?
There's a process. There's a process that, I mean, there are lots of children that have, unfortunately, very sadly, that have mental illness, to the degree that is exactly what's happening. The further reaches of the spectrum for autism can get, violent against parents. And that sort of behavior is really upsetting in kids. But there is a process of what you do. I don't know what the process is because I'm not a psychiatrist, but there is a process that you go through where you take them to specialists and you get the diagnosis and you get, the treatment plan and you figure out, am I going to keep this child in my home or, does this child need to be somewhere with caring professionals who are going to be able to give them round the clock help? And then how does that work? But there are processes in place. It's not like getting an apartment, paying 3 months rent and dipping out was the only option. So that's my 2 cents.
That's your TED Talk.
It's my TED Talk on theoretical true crime. I don't know.
Theoretical true crime on the Theoretical Podcast.
Well, theoretically, we will see you guys next week, I guess.
That's true. Maybe that's our new sign-off.
Theoretically.
Until next time, maybe. Or just say, until next time.
Oh, fuck.
And just sort of pose it with, like, that slight hint of a maybe at the end or a question.
Yeah, like the upside down, like, smiley.
Yeah, maybe. Possibly.
No, but seriously, you guys, we made a lot of jokes about it, but we appreciate you guys hanging in there. We appreciate you guys listening every week, and we do hope to get to a more regular schedule. We've kind of made some adjustments to make that happen, so... We joke about it, we have a lot of fun about it, but we are trying to get our shit together desperately, actually. Quite truly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you want to, like, check us out.
If you want to check us out.
No, I will say this. If you enjoy the show, if this is your first time listening to us, welcome to the podcast. You can also... go to wherever you're listening to us, give us 5 stars, rate us, leave a comment or something. Like, I feel like we need more reviews, and I could be shooting myself in the foot by saying this.
Everyone is going to use the words vapid and vomit inducing in their review.
We really appreciate reviews, and so if you could just get on iTunes or wherever that will allow you to review us, and just leave us a comment, let us know what you think. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, bonus points if you can spin vomit inducing into a positive thing. So
I'm sure our listeners can.
bonus points for that. If you want to check us out on our socials, we're on Instagram at The Haunted Heart Podcast. We're on Twitter at The Haunted Heart. We're also on Facebook. If you search The Haunted Heart Podcast, you can like our Facebook page. You can also leave a review there if you fucking want to go review crazy.
Yeah.
Also, check out our closed Facebook group. It is really cool. That thing is always hopping. So if you just search The Haunted Heart Podcast, you can join the group that way. Either Kenny, myself, or one of our Murder Mod Squad members will approve you. And then you can party with us there.
Yeah. Or party with us on Patreon, too. You can check us out on there at the Haunted Heart Podcast, right, Katie?
No, it's patreon.com/The Haunted Heart Podcast. So
fuck.
that was a really good try.
All right,
You actually can't on Patreon, but that was cute.
Okay, well, you can check us out there, and you can see all the different tiers that we have. We have different things like invocations that you get for signing up, even for $1 and on up from there, and other things like gaining access to our special
Discord
monthly
server.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yes, and our special Discord server, which
Hell
is
yeah.
like a special place just for Patreon members where you get access to
You can text us.
listening to us. You can text us directly.
You can text us and voice chat us and all that shit. So, yeah. Anywho, I think that's our shits. Our end of show shits.
That's our end of show shits. Yep.
Yeah,
All right, guys. Well, welcome to 2020.
Here we are.
Here we are. Finally.
And we're in it together.
Yes, we are.
So,
Until next time.
stay spooky.